Kaioh, or Sea King, how Netflix translated it for some reason, is an honorable title given to those who have displayed great martial skills worthy enough to be recognized either by the Chinese Martial Arts Association or by living Kaioh. It is hinted that there are at least 13 or 12 official Kaiohs per 100 years or every generation. So these guys should be extra strong as they are the strongest fighters in China, but these guys turns out to be a bunch of useless pieces of shit. The first one of them and the leader of these weaklings is the greatest and renowned Supreme Grandmaster of Chinese Kenpo, the Kaioh of Kaiohs, and the current champion of the Right Eye tournament over the last century, the legendary old small wheelchair riding guy Kaioh Kaku. This guy was big when he was young, but he decided that he will be stronger if he'll become smaller, so he became 146 years old, 40 kilos grandfather. His main technique is to eat every single attack with his strong body and attack back with more power. Pretty strong technique. The second Kaioh is a crazy death row convict Kaioh Dorian, who for some reason does not know how it feels to lose in a fight, so some of the main characters teach him this feeling and he became so happy that all he wants now is to eat some candies. Yarersd is one of the main characters, so he is among the strongest Kaiohs and he does not even need to be 40 kilos old man to be strong. Interesting. Although there are some more pretty strong guys who deserve to be called the strongest in China. A guy who was hyped from season 2, but the BAKI plot was not so kind to him like he was to Retsu, so as his first ever opponent in the entire series he gets a guy who fought against the USA on his own and win, a guy who stopped an earthquake by punching the ground and can take a shower of lightning strikes. In short, pretty realistic guy for a human, so their fight was not really fair. One more strongest in China guy whose best technique is to be a literal punching back. And more strongest in China guys, China's #1 apple slicer. A guy who was born only to cure the main character. A guy who could play with a cobra when he was a child but almost lost his own cobra in fight. A guy who can withstand a shot by a cannonball, strikes from a wooden swords and chains and can stay under a waterfall in the midst of a typhoon, but he could not withstand Biscuit Oliva's hand on his head and folded like a butterfly knife. A guy with 2 meters long hands but with low accuracy. A guy with rings. A guy who dreams of being an earthbender from the Avatar. A guy who as Kaioh was weak enough to be kicked from the Only for Kaiohs tournament. And of course a guy who got his title after defeating a wheelchair old man.
Me and none of them not travel by any trip. In the seat of corruption, me say many sit. Look like from corruption, them not benefit.